G'day fellas and welcome to another free-for-all game. We are preparing at the moment for Outback Octagon number 2, and 8 of the best players in the world have decided to jump in the ring so that we can inspect exactly how it's going down. We've got a brand new map for you. This will be in the actual rotation for the Outback Octagon number 2, and it is Tasmania. It is a water map. Water surrounds the edge of the map. The central island is not really sparsely located with resources, but rather densely located with resources, especially towards the middle. So, leaves the players with a question. Do I go for the middle? Do I go for the edge? Do I fight on water? Do I fight on land? How do I look to play it if somebody spawns a little bit too close to me? These are all questions that these players are going to have to deal with. So let's introduce our players as we go around from 12 o'clock on your minimap. Playing in the teal as the Holy Roman Empire. It's Crackety here. To his east. In the purple. Playing as the Chinese. We've got Divine. Towards Divine's west. Also playing as the Chinese. In the color red, it is Puppy Paw. To their south. In the pink. Playing as the English. Marine Lord. To their south. All the way down the bottom here in the orange as the Rus. It's Core. On the west side of the map, in the color yellow. A little bit of a central location here for our English player. It's Averley. And Wham spawns in the west as the Mongols by his lonesome self. But that's not the last player. Definitely not the least player. It's Blade 55555 on the Ottomans. And you'll notice that his king has just spawned. That is correct. The king now spawns with the town center. Now, this is one of those things where I'm not sure whether we're going to change it or not. I like the way that it works. And you can see actually on the minimap that kings are quite big, quite large fellas. They do have some girth to them. So essentially, the king, we made some changes to him. So he's a little bit faster. He's also got armor now and a little bit more health. And he's going to Shadow Tech. So if you've ever seen, like, you know, the militia in the Rus get, as you go up through the ages, they will automatically upgrade. It's the same sort of thing for the king. So you don't need to upgrade him, he'll automatically upgrade. The only issue that we're having, and this is something that I fear is going to haunt me greatly in this event. Desyncs. 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 The game is desyncing at the start of the game, at the middle of the game, in the end of the game, and once it desyncs, that's it. There's no more coming back to it. There's no saved game that you can come back to. There's no, okay, let's go in and start the game again, but we'll all do the exact same thing. No, that's it. If it desyncs, it's over. And so what we're kind of stuck doing is going, okay, well, how do we stop these desyncs? And the honest answer is we don't know. So it means that we have to start pulling things off the shelf that we've already put up there. We put all these great things into it, and my fear is that we're going to have to strip it back to a bare bones FFA tournament if we're not able to fix it. Because at the end of the day, if games are desyncing, this is a $30,000 tournament, and we've got to uphold the integrity of this event. And the most important thing is that we don't have desyncs. So, look, I would love to be able to test it. I'd love to be able to really, you know, make sure that we can sort these desyncs out, but the reality is, it's probably just going to be easier for us to just cut things out of this mod than it is to do that. The testing that we would need, we just don't have the resources for it, unfortunately. But anyway, let's walk in a little bit more about how this game's going to go, because I suspect we're going to have action on this top side. Crackety here has spawned very, very close to Blade, even though he hasn't actually spotted him out. If we ride on board with Blade, Blade spotted out Crackety, though, and he definitely saw his king nearby. Now, one thing to note is you'll see the king on the mini-map. Speaking of kings on the mini-map, Marine Lord having a little bit of a close encounter of the first kind over there on that east side of the map. King comes back in and says, that's feeling a little bit better. Might need to get some heals on that bad boy, though. You know, I was a little bit curious. I thought, how come we haven't seen anybody try and heal their king when they're, you know, when the kings get taking a fair bit of damage? But I guess if you keep him nice and safe in the town center, which is what players are looking to do for the moment, then you don't really have to worry too much about that at this stage. Tasmania, let's talk about it. So, it's an island often left off maps. If ever you see a map of Australia, there's a good chance Tasmania, it's not on it. They just like to put the big main island on it, and that breaks my heart because Tasmania is beautiful. I actually did a stint down in Tasmania when I was working for the government. Did a couple months down there. It was great fun, beautiful place to be. I think my favorite thing about Tasmania is just the coldness of it. I love the cold, and I think I've told this story a couple times. The reason why I love the cold so much is because, oh, never mind. We'll worry about the cold later, Drongo. We got big stories to talk about. It's the only gold. I'm the only gold in the village. The only gold in the village is suddenly contested, and we've got vills getting pulled out here. It looks like Blade wants this badly. He's going to lose a villager for it. Outpost gets filled. Does he claim one back? It looks like he will. Indeed he does. So it's going to be the 1-for-1 at the moment, but it could be a 2-for-1 as this villager is under pressure right now. So why do I like the cold so much as we return back to our broadcast? What is it? Like our scheduled... Oh my lord, look at the sheep in the middle of this map. All right, Tasmania's got a lot of sheep. For anybody who's in with the know, you will know all about Tasmania and its sheep. But I'll let you guys who don't know Google that for a little bit later. So when I was a young boy, my father took me to the city. No, not really. When I was a young boy, my mum always used to tell me, Drongo, go outside, play with the football. I'm sick of seeing you inside on that Nintendo all day. Well, guess what? When it got real cold, when it started raining outside, my mum couldn't say that to me anymore. So I had this cloak of security around me because I loved just playing my Nintendo. That was all I loved doing. I just loved playing. What did I play? I'm trying to even think what I played. I played, oh gosh, Diddy Kong Racing. Oh, classic. Mario 64, obviously another classic. Star Wars. Oh, that was a classic, wasn't it? The Star Wars pod racer game. That was actually legit. A lot of good Nintendo games back in the day. But yeah, that was it. And essentially, you know, I felt a little bit of security in that. So I just said, well, that's why I like the cold. That's why I like the rain. And so that's why I like Tasmania, because it was a great excuse for me to just stay inside and not go out and socialize and play video games, all I like. And that's exactly what I did, of course. What game was I playing down in Tasmania? I was playing a game. I think it might have been Star Wars: The Old Republic. I think so. Maybe I'd gone off The Old Republic by then. Anyway, age ups are starting to come through. We've got the Kremlin on the south side of the map. It's going to be dropped down here by Core, looking to secure up the gold. We also see the first of the council halls coming down over towards the east side of the map. Nothing just yet. Now, one thing to note, you may have noticed this, you may not have noticed this. Chinese town center, the first town center, has an added, if you will, amount of build time on it. So China doesn't have as much of an advantage in these free-for-alls as it used to. Back in the good old days, China, it had the build speed. You'd be familiar with it. When you try and build a house with China, it comes up in an instant. You're like, what the heck? Well, that's because of the extra build speed. Now, that build speed also carries over to Nomad games, and it means that you can build your town center really, really quickly. Well, guess what? We took that away from them. It's too strong. China's too strong, and we want to make them a little bit stronger. In addition to that, other little changes that we've made, as an example, the Mongols are a pretty weak civilization when it comes to free-for-alls, just because of the way that the king works. So, realistically, you can't make a keep. You can't get court architects, which increases the health of the keep. So you're just kind of left with like the town center, and the king is very exposed. So what we've actually done is we've increased the cost of emplacements for all civilizations, except for the Mongols. At least I think that's the way. Yeah, you can see that we've doubled it up. So Araslitz is twice as expensive, as a Springwood emplacement is twice as expensive, and the cannon emplacement twice as expensive here. But it is not the case for the Mongols. The Mongols are allowed to go to Outpost Heaven all they like. Outpost Heaven? Maybe that's not the best way to say it. More villager action, though, over on this north side, as we suspected where the action was going to be, between teal and green. So apologies to all my colorblind friends out there who are just looking like, what are these villagers doing? Why are they attacking each other? They're meant to be best of friends. Well, I mean, they are meant to be best of friends, but this is Age of Empires, and these guys are technically enemies at the moment. More outposts coming up, and I love the way they're just daisy-chaining these outposts, so you can't have the gold, I can't have the gold, well, you can't have the gold either. Well, then I can't have the gold either. Now, one thing to note, Marine Lord... Actually, no, it was Wham over on the west side of the map. We did see him go... Oh, gosh, look at this. Look at these fights. You know what? We'll talk about these. These fights are going to be relentless. They're just going to be going gold mine to gold mine. There's another one down here. Unironically, there's another one down here, and they'll probably just go down to that one. So we did see over on the west side, Wham was looking to begin trade. So we saw a market set up, and I don't know exactly where his landmark has gotten to just yet, but you will notice that we have gone very specific in our placement of our coastal trade posts. So the idea is that there's no internal trading posts. There's only coastal trading posts, which makes it pretty cool, pretty good. If you want to trade, it can be good, it can be bad. It can be good because, well, you're not getting that full length of the map. If we see right here, Wham's only getting 61 gold. So it's not super crazy, right? Like, often we talk about trade and we're like, oh my god, trade is crazy. And yeah, it's crazy, but it's not that crazy. Only 61 gold. It's not that big of a deal. So if Wham wants to increase his gold, he's going to have to bring this market down into maybe down here, somewhere down here, and that's where his gold is really going to start getting a lot higher. But at 61 gold, he's actually pulling in less gold per minute than a villager, than a baseline villager. So training these traders, obviously the barrier to entry on these traders is quite low, just simply because you don't have to create a town center, which is really expensive. But they're not as big as they once were. You guys remember the good old days. And we've already got action on the map. I tell you what, Blade and Crackety right now, they are not having a good time. We might actually change the perspective just to somebody who's being a little bit more passive at the moment. Divine. Well, I take that back. It looks like Marine Lord's decided to make a little bit of a friend over here as well. All right, who hasn't picked a fight yet? Oh, you know what? I like Core's position. We might ride on board with Core just that way so we're not getting attacked. But he is playing the Rus, so you guys know what that means. It means that Pumbaa over here is going to be having some fun. But look at this, already the Castle Age coming through for Wham. 11 minutes 40, a very early Castle Age timing here. At the same time, that was an unfortunate scout position. Look at the sheep here. 20 sheep in the middle of the map for Averley, and Averley going with the white tower up. He's got a great little spot here. Look at all the deer next to this. He's just full natural resources at this point. Plenty of sheep. Is he just going fast him? I reckon you probably could, Averley, to be honest. Just go fast him. Now, I will also note, we're 12 minutes through this, but I figured I might as well say it. You will notice a bit of a nasally sound in my voice. Sounds like I've just come back from a trip to the UK. From the UK. No, I'm sick. I'm quite sick. I'm still sick. And I feared I'm probably still going to be sick even when... Oh my god, look at the action that's going on up here. Oh god, you leave these guys alone for a minute and look what happens. It's terrible. Crackety and Blade are just going at it non-stop here. Another outpost looking to come up. Look at these two guys just racing outposts. And this is the consequence when you spawn so close to each other. And this can really hurt. Like, obviously, it's detrimental to both of them to be fighting. But at the same time, if you're able to get ahead, or if you're able to take the kill, then that puts you in a really good position for the late game. Basically, I think the best way to think about it is whenever you are fighting against something... I can't remember what game it was, but there was theory. It was basically... If you're in a war, okay, you don't want it to be a long, protracted war. You want it to be a very quick, very decisive war so that it's not so much of a drain on your resources. And what you've got here is just a constant drain on resources between both of these sides. And it means that it's going to really hurt both of them. And don't be surprised if you see people start hitting Imperial Ages when these two guys are still battling it out in the Feudal Age with no military units, just villages, full villages, outposts, you know, non-stop, that sort of thing. And look at this. He was actually going for the fortification. Is still going for the fortification. The Vils jump in for the repair, will hit the fort. And now we can see fortification coming through on both of these outposts. And Blade actually making a pretty smart move there. Puppy Paw now reaching the Castle Age as well. So we've got China in the middle, 2TC Song Dynasty. And let's take a look at exactly how Puppy Paw... how his line of sight is looking right now. Because look at this. Oh my lord, don't you love Puppy Paw's playstyle? I tell you what, I love this so much. Puppy Paw absolute giga-chatting it. In the middle of the map, does not care about anybody else. Hasn't scouted anybody else. Hasn't gone looking. Actually, what do we have up here? No, this is just a villager came from here. Villager came from there. He puts down the landmark in the middle of the map and he just says, I am going to own this land. This is mine. Beautiful stuff. Love to see it. I also love the fact he's got the triple dock down here, gathering up all of this deep sea fish. So it is a beautiful style from Puppy Paw. I don't think I've ever seen this style before. Is the reason why he's playing... Oh my god, and he uses the Imperial Palace! Who needs scouts when you've got map hacks? Puppy Paw, oh, it's beautiful. He spots out everybody on the minimap. Gorgeous stuff coming out from Puppy Paw right there. Look at that, and he can see everything that the enemy has revealed because of those villagers. Sees all of the locations of everybody. Oh, it's beautiful stuff. Really, really nicely played by Puppy Paw. I can't imagine how much thinking must have gone into that. But look at this. Monk out in the middle, gonna get picked up. Let's go tune in with those guys at the top because realistically, over on this front, there's not a whole lot happening. Not a whole lot happening anywhere else. And this is going to be the main point. We do actually see some age ups coming through. So it's going to be Divine who's aging up now as well. So he's now, where is he? Divine, the purple over in the east corner, the right corner, has now aged up, gone up with the astronomical clock tower. Perhaps we see a bit of a diversion from that. You can see Krakeny looking to try and get enough gold to age up. The arrow slit's yet to come through. He's just looking to really try and take advantage, but a couple of villagers jump inside. And this is real bad. Oh, real bad. It's real bad warfare right now. This is terrible. And look, Wham just coming to sneak in and say, well, you guys have been fighting. No, I actually haven't been fighting. Look at this though. We've got Averly playing a little bit of the Drongo favorite, crossbow spear, on this south side. At the same time, Wham on the north, just looking to see if he can spot out anybody. Now, if I remember correctly, there is also a couple new things with the king. So I'm pretty sure that the king has got a new ability. I'm not 100% sure. I remember reading that somewhere, but I will just say now, and I should probably shout him out and give him a huge thanks for all of his hard work. Mr. Merlin, okay? He's a YouTuber. You probably might have seen him around. I cast a couple of his stuff, that sort of thing. I delegated to him. I said, look, Mr. Merlin, I trust in your creative vision. These are the broad guidelines for what I want to happen. And I want to see this happen. And I basically said, I want you to liaise with... Oh my lord, look at that keep just coming up, one-shotting all of these monks. There's no relics for you. But I basically said, like, look, this is my broad vision. I want this to happen. I want you to liaise with our stakeholders and do everything that you can to make this happen. And so... I've given him a bit of creative freedom with that. And one of the things that he said is, you know, it might be cool if the kings have special abilities. And I said, that's pretty cool. I like the idea of that. The only thing is it going to cause desyncs? That's what I'm worried about. I'm like, don't be causing desyncs now. We can't be having any of that. But speaking of desyncs, we got Wham, who not really gets desynced, but Wham is more of a disconnect kind of guy. I don't know if you guys remember, there was once Wham and Puppy Paw were fighting in a tournament against each other, and a tree fell near their house, cutting the power lines, and both of them disconnected. And we're like, what do we do now? Oh, what do we do now? Well, Blade's scratching his head. He's wondering what he does now because his town center is under pressure. Vil's going to get pulled to repair it, but he's literally got nothing. And you can see he was about to throw down plenty of production here. He's been locked in a fast fight against his opponent, Krakeny. But now it looks like Wham has swooped in and said, well, we're going to deal with this the good old-fashioned way. Knights under the town center. Now, these knights don't even have their +1 upgrade in, but so far, this is looking very, very good. Now, another thing to note, look what we've got down here. This is super smart, and I love this. Stone walls for the Rus around the Spasskaya Tower with 10,000 health and the Elite King inside. The Elite King. But we head back on board now as Wham looks to take out the first player in the game. All the villagers jumping out. He's trying to repair it. You can see the spears stabbing. Please, spears, do your work. Go, Spearman, please. Spearman, please. But the knights are just having an absolute field day. More lancers coming in from that south side. And unfortunately, the king, I mean, it's a hardened king, but I think you're going to need a little bit more than that to hold against these. Now, I don't think the king's got an attack. I don't think, yeah, we'll have to check in. But the king is going to be released into the wild right now. He could look to try and get on a transport ship, but there's nothing even here. And you can see he does. He's got the ability for movement. Rallied nearby units gain additional movement speed. Go on, King. Go on, King. You can do it. Get him, boy. Well, it looks like our first player will be taken out. Wham has assassinated Blade. And we can see that that Wham is now looking for his second king. So this is going to be putting up his... population from 150, well, actually 200, up to 250. And now look at this. Wham is just sweeping through this town and says, well, I'm going to take that trade. Spear's trying to come through. Now, remember, he's got emergency repairs going for him. Krakeny does. But at the same time, Wham is looking to push on water, so taking out heaps of damage, or heaps of units here. Now, one of the things to note in the Outback Octagon number 2, you don't get points for placement. If you come second in a game, I don't care. If you come third in a game, I don't care. I only care if you came first, and I only care if you killed people. That's all we care about now. So, already, Wham, in a game where he is playing, if we were playing Outback Octagon rules, he is doing really well already because he's got the first kill of the game, and as you guys know, first blood, that's still a thing. And now he's looking for a second kill, so this is a great way for him to secure up early points just by getting these kills. So he's playing it really smart in that style of game. Even if he doesn't win, he's still going to be able, probably second, third place, probably. Sacred Site on the south now going to be contested. Plenty of spears and crossbow here. A distinct lack of walls here. And one of the things to notice, even if you go for walls on a map like this, and this is part of the reason behind going for a map like Tasmania, is, yeah, you can wall, but you've got a back door, and people will always look to exploit that. You know, I remember watching 16 trebuchets get out of a single transport ship, but we do see the king. Oh, the emergency repairs comes in right at the bottom side. Is it going to be enough, though? It looks like it's coming down. We're seeing it briefly come... Yeah, oh, yeah, it's going down. Oh, the king's going to have to evacuate. Repairs come through. That's going to be enough to hold it. The king just standing in on this other side. Wham was looking to try and snipe out the king, actually, with that warship. Up to 1,000 health, but still now pumping out 24 lances, just dishing out non-stop damage. And it looks like the king... indeed, sacrifice himself, and Wham picks up a second quick kill here. So really well played here by Wham to recognize, hey, my two neighbors have been fighting against each other. I'm just going to come in, boom, clean them up. Wham jumps up to 300 maximum population at this point. You can see Puppy Paw was looming. He was looking for it. He said, hey, you got any of those kills? Give me some of those kills. But immediately just falls back, and you can see it's not in their interest to fight against each other. He's got no concerns about his brother. For anybody who doesn't know, Wham, Puppy Paw, both brothers. He's got no concerns. He says, well, you got the kill, fine. There's no dog in the race anymore. That's fine. I'll resort back to going back to the good old days. And look at this. This is a bit interesting. What's going on here? Yeah, we got ourselves a little bit of a hole in the wall. Okay, so stone walls come through. Keep has been completely surrounded by a nice little wall, and he's thrown in the Great Wall Gatehouse for an extra line of defense. I do like it. At the same time, towards the backside, we've got a little bit of an attack coming through here on Marine Lord. Marine Lord trying his best to hold it down. Marine Lord obviously playing the English here. Civilization he's very comfortable with. Moving into that spear men-at-arm combination. And just trebbing down all of the docks here. Looking to clear it out. Wonder how long these fishing boats have been here. They might have to move on to greener pastures as Averley drops down. Is that his first expansion town center of the game? No, it's his second expansion town center of the game. So a second TC coming in, or third TC coming in for Averley. Interesting time to do it. I like the fact he's got the Berkshire Palace here as well. And I'm noticing a bit of frame drops. That is not something I've experienced. I'll just remind you guys that part of the reason why I'm recording this right now is because it's a test case, right? Like, I am doing a test at the moment just to make sure that everything goes well. Frame drops, that's something that is noticeable. So I'll make sure I get on top of that. I don't know if you guys are seeing that. I mean, if I'm seeing it, you're probably seeing it. So apologies in advance. Because that means it's coming through on this PC. For anybody who doesn't know, I've got a 2 PC setup. I got this PC, I got that PC over there, which is doing all the recording. Yeah, definitely not as smooth as I'd like it. All right, well, the Bombards have started making their way towards the east. Marine Lord under pressure. Plenty of Palace Guards here as well. Yet to pick up their, not their elite upgrade, but their, what's the one I'm thinking of? The one from the university. Gosh, I tell you what, sometimes that long COVID really gets you. You just forget the names of things. Yeah, so it doesn't look like he's picked that up. Elite. Specialized, no, elite man at art, no. For the life of me, I can't remember. I'm sorry, I've got to leave the battle right now. Otherwise, this is going to haunt me. Where is your university? Does he just not have a university? Okay, fine. You don't have a university. That's absolutely okay. Puppy Paw, though, looking to come through and claim the king here of Marine Lord. Now, one thing to note is the king is yet to make his way over to the Berkshire, but even if it does, Bombard's working its magic towards it. Not a lot of damage coming out on these Palace Guards. Second Bombard moving in as well. And there's real pressure coming through at the same time. No, never mind. I thought this was a little bit of a push coming out. No, it isn't. It's a push coming out. How did I miss this? At the same time, we got a 2v1. Divine says, hey, that king, he's mine. Where is the king, though? Where is the king, though? Where is the king? Oh, there's a third player on the bottom side. The king making a run for it, but the nest of bees is firing off towards it. Run, king, run, the king. It's a king donation. It's a king donation. He says, I don't want to give my king over to... Who does he? He doesn't want to give it to Puppy Paw. So he says, you take my king instead, Divine. And this is something that has become outlawed or banned. So this is something that's a little bit harder to deal with, right? Because the king is what ties everything in. If you've got a king, that is, you know, if you kill the king, then you get the extra population, and you can see... Wait, did Divine not... Oh, he hasn't built his houses yet. He's got to build his houses. He needs to build 5 houses. So we saw Marine Lord run the king over to Divine because maybe he considers Divine less of a threat in the scheme of things. You know, maybe this is a 5-week event. Over the course of the weeks, Puppy Paw is going to be the big major threat, right? Whereas Divine, you know, maybe he's on 1 or 2 points after those weeks. And that's not to say anything against Divine. It's just that Puppy Paw is a very good player. So he runs the king over there, hoping that Divine is going to be less of a threat. There's the upgrade I was thinking of. Elite Army Tactics, my lord. I don't know what goes wrong with me sometimes. But what do we got over here? Is it rallying? I just saw the trebuchet like unpacked itself. Anyway, let's focus on other places on the map because we've got ourselves plenty of battles that are going to be happening here. So now another good one for our colorblind friends. Orange on Core going up against Averley on the yellow. Looking to get out onto the action. Going up against 2 of those keep landmarks here. Now we're going to be switching perspective. We might swap away over to Wham, I think might be a good idea. Just simply because he's almost, well, not nearly at max pop. So we won't be getting those messages up on the screen. Plenty of units back here as well for Core, so he could be looking to do damage. Now the king is not inside this landmark. Where's the king? The king is inside the big one, the Berkshire. Plenty of units, so he could be looking to push out. But at the same time, over on that east side, push coming through. The two Chinese players looking to go up against each other. Divine, I don't know what's happened to Divine. He's only got 108 units at the moment. 56 vills. Has he lost everything? Has he lost anything? Has he lost something? Was he only 1 TC from the beginning? Was Divine just 1 TC and Puppy Paw's been 2 TC the whole time? Perhaps that's the case. And Divine's in Imperial, but at the moment it's so difficult. If you've ever played Crossbowmen up against Elite Palace Guards and Fire Lancers, it's not a fun time, I'll say that much. Now Wham's got the trade in. Wham's actually got full trade in, and he's trading to an eliminated player's dock. And this is a perfectly legal move. Now, keep in mind, you can't trade with a player who is alive, but you can trade with a player who has passed, who has been eliminated. But keep in mind that if this happens, right, if, say, for example, if you see someone doing big trade like that, then very easily, then you can just go up, run, and kill the dock. And that will stop the trade. So it's only the one person that's going to be defending that trade. That's the best way to think about it. So it looks like Divine's going to be holding on for a little bit longer, but the battle on the south side is brewing. 5 remain. Unlikely to see Marine Lord go out this early in a real tournament game. But it did happen today. Got 3 central sacred sites. Good luck to holding those. Definitely makes it a bit harder for the sacred victory when you consider how far apart they are. But if there's anybody who could contest it, it would be Averley. Nice little push from him. Coming out. And now on the backside, Wham. Once again on the Mongols. Going to be looking for more snipes, I suspect. He's already picked up 2 this game. Could be looking for a 3rd one. What does he have to take down? He has to take down the Berkshire. There's no stone walls around it, though. He could literally just run in here, siege it down, camp the top side of the town center, kill the king. Definitely could happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, actually. And now over on that east side, more pushes coming through. Bombard, ramps, nest of bees. All of that pyrotechnics is coming out right now for the Chinese, and it feels like only a matter of time until Divine is left with nothing. We can see he's lost so many villages, down to 32 villages on the UI. 10 military remaining. And now that king, where's that king? There's the king, elite king. He actually jumps out of the building. He looks to get himself out of there. I don't know whether he used treason right then or exactly what happened, but he does take a little bit of damage. He's got 500 health at the moment. Puts on his roller skates and skates on down the hill. Get on out of here, king. Now he can chuck it in a transport and put it to the corner of the map. I don't know what value that would really give him, other than just denying the kill away from somebody. Maybe that's something that we could think about. But, I mean, it just kind of leaves you out in the open, right? And it could actually be seen as a genuine strategy, right? Like, I have seen games where people play the water rather than playing the land. Age of Empires 3, isn't it? Core eliminated? Oh no, that's the desyncs! And Divine went down as well! That's the desync! Core got eliminated! That's the desync! Oh my god, it's terrible! Look at Core! Oh, he's an absolute King Gigachat in the middle of the map. No one's gonna stop him in the desyncs. We need to make sure we fix this. This is not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's not cricket. We're not having fun when people are desyncing. So this is something that... What was it that triggered it? I wonder. Like, surely there's got to be a specific trigger for it. Like, did anybody age up? No, everybody's Imperial age. I have no idea what it could possibly be and why it happens, but two people at the exact same time. I mean, to be fair, it looked like Divine was pretty much dead. You could give his points over towards Puppy Paw, but then he misses out on the population. So I think if you kill the king, you will still get the population. So it's probably worth doing that. But Core, I mean, he's in a position where he can contest the victory here. Not only that, but then it now makes it a lot easier for Averley. So how do we manage this? If in the event that this happens, let's say, okay, I'm reaching out to you right now, YouTube. Leave a comment down below and let me know what's the best way to deal with this, because obviously we don't want it to happen. But if it does happen, where do we go from here? Because there's no restarts. Do we just put all three of these guys back in the arena and give them like 50,000 resources and say just play it out? How do we do it from here? Do we give them all an extra point because they made it to this point? I don't even know what to think, what to say. But we got a big battle beginning to unfold right now. Plenty of spears here. Hand cannoneers on the back line are going to be able to shred through all of these lances. At the same time, the Berkshire are going to be firing down with its extra range. And look at the siege starting to build from Wham. He's got plenty of mangonels in this mix and a sneaky little nest of bees as well. The bombards begin to fire down upon the Berkshire. Mangonels looking to break through, and we can see the Baochuans coming out. So it looks like Puppy Paw is beginning to push on water. Oh, big shots from the top, bro. Mangonels. Just a whole bunch of dead villagers right there, to be honest. And the siege is the only thing that really remains here at this point for Wham. Now, keep in mind, Wham's got 270 population at the moment. And he's going up against Averley that's on 150. So a little bit of a role reversal here from the first FFA that we were witnessing. Check out the Baochuans going at it, though. The nest of bees in placement. Khan goes down. Now, remember, the king is actually in here. There's a world where the king gets sniped from the bombards. The bombards take out the Berkshire, and then the king gets sniped. The king has got to be really careful. More bombards coming in now. 5 bombards. Oh, there's definitely a world where this happens. He could move the bombards into range. There's the king, exposing the king. Does he look to go for it right now? King jumps in the town center. He stays alive for a little bit longer. Continues ushering himself over to a new edge. He knows he's got Puppy Paw working his match. Puppy Paw going with an interesting strategy here. Something that comes out of the bronze leagues. We don't always see it make its way towards the top side of the Conqueror 3+ level, but the long distance mine is something that, you know, the Yuan dynasty is... Oh, never mind. Okay, he's built a mining camp. All right, well, we move forward then. So at this point, Puppy Paw is looking to take control on water. He's thrown down the dock intentionally because he wants to look to deny where the enemy may be trading. And that is exactly what he could look to do here. At the same time, Berkshire is slowly but steadily coming up. All the siege over on that west side has almost completely been cleaned up and a lot of outposts coming through. Remember, cannon in placement, not as expensive for the Mongols as it is for the other civilizations. That is a big, I can't believe that, a big desync coming out. That is really, really painful. I still don't know how to manage that, what to do in that situation, because at the end of the day, you're just denying an opportunity to someone. Especially because we're awarding points. And look at this. Baochuan's around the edge of the map. Because we're awarding points not for kills, or rather because we are awarding points for kills, and also for first place, it's very important to win first place. So if you desync, not through no fault of your own, and then you miss out on that opportunity to get first place, that's like, no, it's too harsh. It's way too harsh. I'm sorry. I can't allow that. All right, well, we've got a snipe attempt coming through. Puppy Paw actually going for a snipe on the king here. This is what we talked about. Part of the reason why the Mongols are so weak. And look at this, fire lancers just coming through. Town center needs to get repairs. Not really finding much of it. Still moving. Look at this through the base. Look at this. All the siege now moving through the base. Puppy Paw just says, excuse me, I'm just on my way to kill my brother. He's on the other side of the map. Don't mind me. And look at this at the same time. Baochuan's on the bottom side. Town center will stay alive for the moment. Phils were repairing through that damage. And now all of the siege sits within the base of Averley. At the same time, towards the top side, here's the dock, and this is what we were talking about. This is part of the reason why we allow people to trade with players that have been killed, is simply because you can actually kill the dock. But if you're trading with a player that's alive, then you've got 2 people defending the trade route rather than the 1. And now Averley just sitting here, he's making units, but I think he might realize that it's all over Red Rover. He was somewhat given a bit of a lifeline there when Core dropped out. But where Core drops out, Puppy Paw steps in. And Puppy Paw is not the kind of guy to just give up on some easy points right here. Where I'm looking to throw down an outpost in the middle of the base. Trebuchet firing off towards the Fire Lancer. It's going to miss. And still that push coming in from both sides, the Baochuan. And truly, the king of the water is now Puppy Paw. Yet to deny this dock, but he doesn't even need to at this point. You can see how important Wham considers this, trying his best to keep it alive. King safe inside the town center for now. Other king safe inside the town center for now. Puppy Paw's king very safe inside the keep for now. I love that Puppy Paw still hasn't got court architects though. Up towards the top side, it's an absolute massacre. As the traders come through, Wham's economy is getting eaten alive. He's down to 128 population. And this is where it comes in, where it's like, well, you've got that extra 200 population, but what does it even really matter? Or that extra 100 pop, what does it even matter at this point when Puppy Paw is just doing such a great job of cutting through all that trade? And I think this is where it comes to the importance of water. Now, you could be doing like a mid-map kind of trade, like maybe if you've got control of the middle, trading from here all the way over to the other side. But this is very exposed. Whereas this is exposed to water, which you might neglect at first, think, oh yeah, well, it's only water. No one's going to push on water. And then Puppy Paw pushes with 4 Baochuans on one side, 2 Baochuans on the other side. And at the same time, a land push through the middle. Is Puppy Paw really committing to this? I don't want you. It's just my brother that I want. I think that's probably what's happening right now. Because very easily he could just take out the town center. He's got plenty of units that are rallying in. More Fire Lancers coming through on the top side. Puppy Paw definitely looking like he's going to be able to take out this game. Got plenty of resources in the bank here. Those Baochuans now going to start moving up. Everybody's moving in. Second neutral dock here that can be traded with. And the town center going to be under threat. Baochuan, I think, going to be taken out in a single shot here by the TC. More units coming in from that north side. And still Averly just sitting piggy in the middle. He knows there's no chance. I think he's gone for a walk. Oh, he's definitely gone for a walk. Averly's gone for a walk. All right, well, at this point, it's just Puppy Paw who remains the king of the jungle. Wham's trying his best to do anything, but the trade has been completely eviscerated. He does have a small remnant of the trade network, but it's a sad state of affairs to be a Mongol trader right now. Plus zeros all around. And indeed, I think they just might be chatting it out. All right, well, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that Wham has gone completely idle. Averly's gone idle. We've had 2 people. Averly gets eliminated. There we go. So that's just going to be it. An unfortunate end to this game, but I felt like the start was pretty solid. Let me know what your solution is if you think you've got one to these desyncs. Obviously, we just want to get rid of them. But in the worst case scenario where they do happen, how do we go? What do we do? Do we just start a new game with the desynced players and the other players that made it up until that point? What if a desync happens at an hour? What if a desync happens at 90 minutes? I can't justify it. It's going to be tough, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.